Hi friends. I think you won't mind if I don't turn any lights on for now. I have another pair of journals. I don't know if I'll record them one right after the other, but I wrote them that way. This one was from Saturday at 23:36, so it's almost Sunday. 5:18, and the Mayan day was 9 star rabbit or Venus. I have no idea what to say. Not sure why I'm here. Sometimes you just watch as the body does something, feeling like you're along for the ride. Since it is opening a journal, well, I guess I'll be journaling. Has your self-observation ever brought you to this point, or even beyond? It's a lot more enjoyable world to live in when we can really get cozy like this in the moment, tucked away in the now. No worries, no hassles, no fears, just open watching. I highly recommend it, even if only by bits at first. Hey, we all start somewhere, right? People sometimes ask how I go into heart or how I meditate, things like that. For those who can let go of their focus on the calendar, on the watch, and on time, there are some really good previous journals going back over a few years that, well, they cover different aspects of that. I work hard to make my tags useful too, so you can just go to my video page and put in whatever search terms you like and see what you get. Could be fun. The thing about getting into or going into heart is you really don't have to do that. You're already there at all times. Step out of your body-mind self-concept with me. Step out into your broader being. Let's expand out at least to encompass the body's energy field. Some call it the aura. You can just as easily expand out to encompass the earth. It just takes a bit of practice. And some call that practice meditation. I call it fun. Mind is always and forever doing or wanting to do something. No doubt you've noticed if you're over about age 6 or 7, it's rather crazy or crazy making, so let's leave it behind. This is your right, you know. As a divine being, I'm here to tell you that you've got more rights than you're exercising. There, how does that sound? I rather like the sound of it. Remember, it is the mind that is programmed, not you. We love the mind and want it to be healthy and all, but in the end, let's not forget who we are. Mind is our tool, not our being or identity. So what happens with it doesn't control us, unless we believe it does. So let's get some breathing space going between you and your mind. A good place to start: expanding out, gaining breathing room, remembering at least a bit of who we truly are, which is divine. Nice. So, I've found that heart is all about being, not doing, which is the province of mind. Well, that's actually rather deep. It took some observing to come into it, so don't mistake your mind thinking it knows or understands something for reality. Remember, you are not mind. What it knows or doesn't know isn't really that important to the you that you really are. We have a bad habit that I've noticed while observing self. It's our tendency to believe our thoughts, to trust what the mind says, usually without question. I'm here to call on you to start questioning, and don't stop. Mind is nothing to vest such trust in, not the way things are arranged on present-day Earth, where mind has been put firmly in charge. Now, that would be fine if we were a bunch of minds, but we're not. We are consciousness. We are awareness. You can also call us light beings or souls. Make yourself happy. Pick your choice, but whatever it is, just be sure it isn't anything physical. That would be identified with our tools or our game pieces, our avatars. Okay, so the body-mind things can also be seen as much more than that. Regardless, they are not who you are, so you don't do the self any favors by identifying with anything in 3D. I don't mean to be mean or nasty or anything, but if we don't get this breathing room well established between us and 3D before we begin, there just won't be many who will follow me on into the journal. Oh, they'll come along all right, and they will think or believe that they understand what I'm saying, but they won't. That I can promise you. So chances are pretty good that if you've been with these journals for a little while, you're already good at stepping outside of your mind. There's nothing here for the mind. No new interesting information or facts. Actually, if you were totally identified with mind, you wouldn't stick around for more than a very few of these journals. Mind would drag you away screaming, or at least nervous and unhappy at the big gulf, at the big void it had peeked into here. In addition, it's pretty clear that mind has been ruling the roost for pretty much everyone for a number of centuries, and mind likes it. So it doesn't want to be deposed or dethroned in favor of anything, whether it's called heart or anything else. So the minute mind discovers that's exactly what's waiting for it in these journals, it's out of here. And that's why I say that if you're still here after a few of them, chances are you are not totally identified with mind. Now, being identified with the body is another sort of animal. Well, poor choice of words, another sort of thing. In its own way, our body has heavily imprinted us with it for a self-image. It's what you see in the mirror, so that gives that image plenty of feeding. This too is something that going into heart will help us to overcome. Some may wonder why they would want to overcome believing that they are the body or the mind. Well, that's reasonable. But I still say to drop down into your chest to hear the answer. You might not be aware of it yet, but when you listen from there, or really just anywhere at all but in the head, you're hearing things differently. At first, it may not be noticeable, since we're in a deep rut of thinking we know who we are, when we don't, and of thinking that we are limited, when we're not. So, just for a little while, do keep dropping your attention down into your chest and keeping it there as much as you can while you listen or read. If you do this, it will prove itself to you, and you won't need me to explain it, but I'll give it a go. In reality, you are not just third dimensional. You're actually multi-dimensional. Yeah, I know it's a big hidden secret, but now it's out. Keep listening from chest. Now that it's out, how open are you to the possibility? Can you accept it? Can you make room? Have you had any experiences in your life that might be better explained if you knew this was so? That you are not limited to 3D? Well, you're not. But I keep calling you down into chest because you won't access this from the head or the mind. Those are instruments of 3D and they're perfect for that. It's all about using the right tool for the right job. And for cruising the dimensions, we stick to heart or just centered in the chest. Got it? Like I said earlier, if you'll just take it on faith or as an experiment for a little while and be open, it will prove itself for you. Some people aren't open enough to even try this. We as people have been programmed with one heck of a heavy load of fear. Fear in every color and size and flavor there is, layered in heavily. Just step back from the nightly news to see how it's maintained and layered on even thicker. And now multiply that by the number of times you've watched the news to see what I mean. Well, it comes at us everywhere. On the telly, from the governments, in our schools, from our peer group, parents, job, you name it. Fear is everywhere, universal. Funny thing though, you don't have to be subject to any of it. Now, I'm not saying it will just go away today and not return tomorrow. I'm talking about something very thorough and permanent, but something that, but something that big doesn't generally happen overnight. Though it can. Always remember, anything is possible. Anyway, center back down into heart. And now, take a look back at how it felt to have me talking about all of those uncomfortable things. Scan your body. See where the tension is. Okay? Now, relax it. Just let it all go, and I'll share my fear-mastering secrets with you, such as they are. Hey, you can at least try them out, right? Okay, it's simply dark in here now, so I'm going to pause just a moment and mess with this thing and give us a little bit of light. So, back again. It turns out that when I changed the screen size from widescreen back to standard, it kicked out. So I'm back to pick up where it cut out. So let's see. Here it is. Sharing my fear mastering secrets with you, such as they are. Hey, you can at least try them out, right? So here's the first one. Have a look-see at what part or aspect of you, or which part of the body, is experiencing fear when it comes. If you're really intuitive, you may get the sense of it right away. In all of my work looking at this, what I found was that all of my fears were centered in one or two places, and that was either in the body or the mind, or sometimes even both. Now, so you say, so what, right? That's maybe too big an area? Well, stay in chest or in heart with this as we migrate our identity up and out of being stuck only in 3D. We'll find it easier to be less concerned with both of them, body and mind. We're not unconcerned. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that we don't have to be or feel mastered by them either, like we're somehow subject to them. That's not the best relationship to be in with the body or the mind, that's all. See? In shifting identity like this over into consciousness or higher self or awareness or what have you, what we're also doing is taking our power back. We've been trained to be subject to and under the dominion of mind, pretty much. The body came along for the ride, or who knows, maybe it feels like the reverse for you. One way or the other, though, when you uncover your own ability to be multidimensional, it frees you up from being so limited. And it's not really an ability, it's something that you are. Well, from feeling so limited, since you never really were, you just thought you were. And as long as we think or believe something, that rules for us until we replace the belief. So right now, we're replacing the belief that we're 3D creatures with belief in our multi-dimensional reality. We're reprogramming the brain. And we're expanding out into that, of course, even just subconsciously. It's really cool. Now we'll be able to access or begin to access some of the deeper layers of mind too. Maybe some of those other layers are really on the other dimensions already. Hey, who knows? Anything's possible. So just be open and observant, that's all. Do you begin to see or intuit now how what we're doing will help you to master a boatload of fears? When you're convinced you're the body, and the body is under attack or in danger, then fear is the logical response. When you think you can actually die, that just amps it up. But what if you can't possibly die? What happens to fear then? What if your body could be killed 1,000,000 times and you just couldn't possibly die? Now, I'm not saying your body wouldn't die. It would. You just wouldn't be in it at the time. It's never lights out for you, my friend. Welcome to the reality that you're not just multidimensional. You're also eternal. Can you handle it? Bet you've already considered it, so this one maybe isn't news for you. Tell you what, if it is news though, I've got a really great little playlist that will help you shift that belief that you can die. It's got about, 40 hours worth of people reporting on their own experiences with crossing over in NDEs, near-death experiences. Now, this used to be my favorite subject of all time. I used a lot of this stuff to help me reprogram my own mind away from the belief that I could die. So, I've put the link in the transcript right here in this paragraph, so you'll have to go down a bit. Most of us have pondered this idea about death, at least somewhat. The way our society treats it, I'm amazed we're not even more traumatized. At least in Asia and other places, they don't hide the body away like it was something to fear, making it up pretty as if it was a doll or something. I like the funereal fires, the pyres at the side of the Ganges. That's real bodily death with a stench and all the rest of it. No sense trying to dress up the reality into something so terribly phony. Now, just my opinion, of course. I've been to plenty of funerals, and you can get deep in your heart and in prayer in the midst of all of that, too. Anyway, in the West, we're isolated from so much surrounding death. Then we've got the society's ways of handling the whole thing, and it just gets to be a real mess. Peer pressure, social pressure puts us in this whole fear of death bubble, and it's not so easy to break out of it. Well, finding out you're multidimensional is a much easier way. Now, at this point, maybe the best thing I can do is keep calling you back to center in your chest, or to just read or listen from there. And seriously, if you just keep doing that, you'll soon get a sense that there's something just different about it. I don't want to describe too much because you'll have your own particular way of experiencing it, and no way is either right or wrong. Your way will be best for you. It'll be perfect. So there's none of this, my way is the right way stuff, see? No, your way is for you. I'm just saying that if you're even remotely faithful to making this a habit of placing attention in your chest when you come to the journals, or watch a video, or have a conversation, or brush your teeth, walk the dog, whatever you do, then you'll start to notice something. And I'd suggest journaling how that feels. Things will begin to change at a faster pace for you too. If you don't write some of it down, you may be surprised to find yourself having moved on from whatever was your experience, and now you find yourself in a new sort of space, making it hard to remember what it was like before. Hey, that happens to me only quite all the time. Why do you think I journal? And it's lovely to be able to go back to them. Yeah, my reality keeps changing on me. And if I didn't journal it, well, it's been helpful, that's all. To me, and maybe to you and others as well. You see, source flows in us, and we can leap into that, connect with it. Sometimes it happens just by perpetually centering attention in your chest. Hey, you never know. I take the whole thing, though, to be entirely by grace. It's not that if you do a this, you get a that. I'm not saying that at all. Kind of linear, huh? What we can do, though, is to make the self available to grace. Do you see? When you're crazy in love with Source, as I am, you just can't help yourself. You will do that. And all you can. I love that line. I put it in bold. Make the self available to grace. Still, though, I can attest to the reality that there is no correlation between my practices or doings, any doings on my part, and any particular states of consciousness or experiences. I got over expecting such things a while ago, or seeking them out, and it's been one of the nicest things I ever did for myself. Heck, if it was a me doing an it these days. I just don't know. I am saying, however, that when we persist in this chest centering thing, that after a while, one of the side effects I experienced was an easier facility with staying in now. Getting out of it into past or future just doesn't much happen, not when you're in heart. So obviously that made it far easier to surrender the whole thing of holding expectations for things, for outcomes, for whatever. It got to where expectations just didn't make sense. What I discovered in that is a completely new kind of freedom. I found it was yet another way of taking your power back. We didn't realize that we pawned away our power to both yesterday and to our tomorrows by holding expectations and regrets. One heads off into the future, the other gets lost, wandering in the past. But that just doesn't happen that much once you start your centering practice to develop the habit. Something else really awesome this has taught me is how easy it is to be in what amounts to a state of meditation pretty much all the time. I have a sense of reverence about being in heart. I didn't bring it to heart with me. I found it already there. Oh my God, there's the most beautiful firefly climbing up the window there, flashing so beautifully, so brightly, a really bright, lovely light. I feel for you if you don't live where the fireflies live, the lightning bugs. They are absolutely adorable and innocent of any sting or bite of any kind. Just a beauty, a marvel of nature. Gosh, I'm about to get high on appreciation here. There he goes, climbing up the outside of the big picture window that holds all of my lead crystal. It's just after midnight now, so of course it's very dark. Yet even so, when I have the light on beside me, the crystals catch the glow of it, and they shine and sparkle so brilliantly. No rainbows, but beautiful shining, a different sort of light. And believe it or not, as the ones dangling from the porch overhang move about in the breeze or the wind, they catch the light from in here and they reflect it back to me in sparkles of their own. I live in a virtual paradise, a place where just about everything makes me so very happy that at times it's hard to contain it. And then come the tears. I get that way over my kitty being close by, too. Something super special there. Must have known her before or something. I don't know. Okay, enough. I think I've shared enough, both in the words and ideas, but just as much in the energy flowing here. Those in heart will be able to tune in to at least some of that. Keep spending time there, and soon you'll be able to feel it, not just in me, but in others as well. Remember, heart is also intuition central. No joke. Those aren't just words. It all depends on what you want, my friends. Whatever it is, reach out for it. Love yourself enough to do that. Trust the self. You are worthy. Remember, by nature, you're the divine. You don't have to become it. You already are it. It's a matter of uncovering it, of remembering it. It isn't something to be found or earned. Rather, it is something that you really are. So it's more a matter of reclaiming it. Namaste.